Aerodrome Finance price update. Why most people are not ready for this upcoming move. My name is mikemadz. Let's start this video. Before I start the video, as always, make some noise. Every like matters, every comment matters, every single type of engagement matters, guys. The more people engage, the better for the video. The more people are going to hear and see about Aerodrome, the better for us. Now's the time here. Who's still around? I'm still here, I'm not leaving. Let's stop wasting time. Let's jump straight into it here, especially guys, yes, after this massive capitulation event, basically most alts basically are at bear market levels, and the sentiment is worse than I've ever could have imagined here, being it this bad here in 2025. Either way here, I'm still gonna stick around. Nothing has changed, and this is exactly my edge here. I'm not giving up when times are hard, and I'm also not giving up here when times are good, leaving the space just because I made some money, okay? Take a look at the agenda today. Why are we dumping here? This is the most asked question, actually. Most people are not grasping why we're actually dumping here and why we had this massive here capitulation event. I will cover the reasons, my personal reasons why. Is the cycle over? There is a possibility here, or some people are gauging the fact here that the cycle might be over. Some people give up, don't expect new all-time highs. Is that the fact here, or is there still hope reaching new highs here, especially for Aerodrome? Aerodrome price prediction here, of course, an update here, as the price went a different route here than most people expected, including myself. And of course, one of the most important things here, in my personal opinion, here's exactly how to manage or how to navigate here this time frame in order not to get wrecked here. Okay, taking a look at that. Why are we dumping here? This is the most important question you need to ask yourself. Why? Because if you're clueless here, if you're in the dark, not really knowing why the markets are reacting this way, then there's a certain tendency here for you to react in an unrational way, losing your bags or losing your conviction here and leaving the space. So why are we dumping? One of the most important questions you need to ask yourself, and you should have an answer for it. Okay, so my personal answer for this, or my personal view on the situation, is the following here. The first question, actually, in contrary, you need to ask is, why did we actually pump? Why did the market pump here after the election here? And of course, the reasons were pretty simple. First things first, of course, Trump here. As you can see here, already in 2024, it was very clear here that Trump is pro-crypto, Trump is pro-Bitcoin, and Trump supported this entire space. So this was one of the main reasons here. The market started to price in, if Trump wins, then crypto is gonna move. Okay, so pricing in things here in the markets is very common, and navigating this can be pretty hard here, especially if you are a beginner. Other fact here, of course, Gary Gensler, it was also a fact here already, especially here during this conference, that Gensler basically will be fired. Of course, he cannot be fired, but he stepped down. And this was also a very bullish thing for risk on assets, because as we know here, Gensler was pretty strict, limiting the crypto space in general. Long story short. Okay, so those two things were priced in. Of course, the markets here reacted in a certain way, had a massive push forward. And of course, the last thing here, one of the biggest things here that most people expected to happen after the Trump election, was that the Bitcoin reserve is going to take place in the US, and things are going to just work out like that, and Bitcoin is going to be a reserve asset. So those three things were priced in, and this is why the markets pumped here, especially Bitcoin here. And this is how the markets work, guys. Markets look forward, and then markets price things in. Of course, also Aerodrome had a massive move up, and then the reality sets in here. Why? Because the expectations are very high, but the reality is different in most cases, guys, as all of those things here take time here. A Bitcoin reserve asset, if it's gonna happen, is not gonna be a thing that's gonna be here on the horizon in a couple of weeks. This thing takes time, and of course Gary Gensler stepping down. Now in hindsight, I'm not sure if it was the best thing, as a lot of scams here and the crime season happened in crypto after that. So just to have a broad overview here, why are we dumping? Well, basically the expectations were super high. And why did we pump? Because those expectations were priced in, so the markets moved higher. Now, knowing all that, now you have a ground framework here on where we are in the market and why the market behaved this way in the last recent weeks and months. And now there's two things to look forward to. Okay, the first thing is the good side of those things. Of course, while those things here are not here yet, basically the Bitcoin reserve, the good thing about all of this in the future, there is the possibility, of course, for a Bitcoin reserve asset and for a Bitcoin, for a crypto reserve asset to take place. So this is the good thing here. So long term, crypto is in a very, very good spot. Regulation is going to be on the horizon here. The Bitcoin or crypto reserve is still a possibility. So in the long term, things are still looking bright and even are looking brighter than ever before for the crypto space. Now, the bad here, especially for Aerodrome, in the short term, because we had such a high expectation here, of course, this expectation was not really met, and this coincided with, of course, the market here slowly but surely bleeding and finally leading us into this capitulation event here where everything basically just puked. Hope is gone, okay, and the fear is at all-time high. Also in combination here with some macro data here not looking too good, and especially here with liquidity actually not really picking up. The bad here is, of course, that altcoins got absolutely wrecked here. And why is that? Why did altcoins get this badly wrecked here? Because, of course, altcoins are much, much further out the risk curve here, and those things, of course, people get rid of first. Bitcoin last year. So all altcoins, just like Aerodrome here, got absolutely wrecked. It was not my base case here, especially last year, but in the last recent weeks, especially in my community, this was actually my base case here to be defensive until proven otherwise. Now, taking a look at Aerodrome, as always, we're taking a look at metrics here, and the metrics are starting to crumble, of course, as the AERO token, the native token, is also in free fall basically. The TVL dropped here to a substantial amount, and as you can see here, now it's actually also a question here if DEXs are actually the biggest TVL placeholder in the base ecosystem, or if lending in DeFi actually can surpass this. We'll of course have to check here in the next weeks and months. And taking a look at that, of course, unlike other videos where I brag about Aerodrome's metrics here, well, of course, volume is still high and Aerodrome is still the liquidity hub of base. Of course, with Aerodrome dropping here and ETH dropping, the TVL basically took a nosedive here. And as always, just like I always say, take a look at the metrics, and the metrics tell you the health of the ecosystem. And right now, of course, the metrics are mirroring here the price action of AERO. This was not the case here a couple of months or weeks ago, where actually the metrics was still super healthy here, but the AERO price was stagnant. Right now, this is basically one-to-one, and of course we have to see how this goes in the future. I don't want to be too bearish, but this is just simply the reality here, okay? Take a look at the most important thing here for most people. Is there a chance that the cycle is over? And this is one way to look at it, and this is especially my personal way to look at it. We have to take a look at Bitcoin here. Pretty simple. Bitcoin, I like to keep things simple here. I know people like to use Elliott waves, all type of scenarios here to gauge if we're bullish or bearish. Long story short, guys, this is the bull market support band. Okay, the bull market support band is a combination of moving averages here, and once the price is above the bull market support band, as you can see here, we are officially in a bear market, or at least in a bull market, sorry, or at least in a bullish phase here. As you can see, we ride the bull market, sometimes test it. Okay, once we break below this bull market support band, this is usually the first sign that things are shifting here. Now, of course, this is a late indication as they are moving averages, but it's an important fact here to take a look at, because this is the first time in a long time here, especially after this Trump win here, that we are breaking down below the bull market support for Bitcoin here. Now, of course, if Bitcoin is weak, altcoins are much weaker. Now, does this mean that the cycle is over? Absolutely not, and this is not my base case, guys, okay? Just to be clear here, my base case is still, nothing's changed here, that we're gonna have one more massive push here, especially once QE is back here and announced, basically one more massive push with the real alt season closing up the cycle. But in the short term and in the present, Bitcoin is below the bull market support band and needs to actually close above this here in order for me to be more risk on again, okay? Now, did we have the scenario before? Yes, we had the scenario before here, especially last year. As you can see, once we break down below and once we have a close down below, this usually signals weakness, and this usually signals that we have a couple weeks or months here of sideways chop or even bleed in the market. Do I personally believe here the bull market is over? No, my base case is still here. One more massive push and one more massive push to all-time highs here, especially for altcoins, okay? Taking a look at the next step here, Aerodrome price prediction, an update here most people are waiting for. Yes, price action was absolutely brutal here, and most people didn't expect here the price of Aerodrome to drop this low especially in 2025. As you can see, we dropped below $600 million in market cap, which is very, very undervalued in my personal opinion. Being the liquidity hub of base, this doesn't make any sense. Now, of course, the FTV is much, much higher, but let's focus on the market cap. It doesn't make any sense in my personal opinion. Okay, take a look at the charts here. The charts, just like I mentioned in my last video, and this is getting more and more clear here for people. Just like I said, if we lose this level here, in my personal opinion, it's better to be on the sideline here, wait for a bullish reversal before re-entering the space. Now, if you didn't sell here, in my personal opinion, it is too late here. But just to give you a glimpse of hope here, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't be worried yet. Okay, I still, again, expect Aerodrome to reach new all-time highs here. And selling right here doesn't really make sense, as you already took out the majority here of this bearish move. And I actually believe that we are due to a massive bounce. So if you want to sell, then I would sell at the bounce here for Aerodrome. The worst case scenario, in my personal opinion, for Aerodrome would be another basically 30% drop from here, where there we have the next support here, a support that held in recent bearish trends. If we still are in a bull market, this support here is the last resort. Again, I know it is a pain here to hold this token in such a large drawdown, but like I always say here, this is the price you pay for altcoins. And the further you go out in the risk asset curve, this is just simply part of the game. Again, I want to remind you, Aerodrome is not a meme coin. Aerodrome is the liquidity hub of base. So in the long term, I would not be worried here. Again, we have been here, we've done it here. Most people gave up last year here. And of course, then we had a new all-time high here. Or basically, we reached all-time high again, where most people did not expect it. All right, closing off this video with a question I'll get a lot here currently. How to navigate this? Mike, should I sell? Should I buy? What should I do here? Where are we in the cycle? In my personal opinion, this is a very, very simple approach, but a very effective approach here, how most people should navigate this current market phase. Okay, so the current navigation I would personally choose here is pretty simple. If, then. Okay, and if, then, what does it mean here? If we get a bullish reversal, especially taking a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum here, if we get a daily or a weekly close for Ethereum, especially here, I like to look at Ethereum here in this case for altcoins. If Ethereum has weekly closes again above $3,200, then this is the time to be risk on again. Okay, if Ethereum chops around here and has bearish retests to the upside, then it's better to sell into bounces here and to protect your capital. Pretty simple. I know more people like to make it much complicated here, but this is the strategy I run, and this strategy here actually helped me to make most of my trades here in my trading journey. Okay, so keep it simple, have hope here. Nothing is decided. In my personal opinion, we still have a massive push to the upside here, but things would simply take longer than most people expect. Okay, at the end of the day, guys, be bullish on yourself. That yields the most returns. Do your own research. Super important. Everybody can be wrong, including myself. And the most important thing is, as always, don't get wrecked.
This guy giving up from blue tops like Mars Simpson, just hard discipline, pot simmering, cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plane form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams manifest.